And a lot of people on the left are not happy about how the way it got done. And they think that this is speaking to the issue of 2012, where maybe, just maybe, President Obama might not win because they felt that he didn't look strong on this particular issue. And I want to ask a question about that. Do you think that President Obama should have compromised with the Republicans for this tax cut that they are getting?
Well, I think he may have compromised too much, but I do understand the rationale behind what he did. And I think he pretty much explains very clearly when he makes these decisions that may be unpopular. Basically, what he was saying is that because of the high unemployment rate and the individuals who are getting ready to lose all benefits, that something had to be done right away. And as we know from the past couple of years, these things drag on indefinitely with the fighting between the Republicans and the filibusters and all of the other nonsense, the political games that they play. And I think he realized that there are too many people under the problem of joblessness to go through what we normally go through in that area.
Zach, what do you think about that?
I've been listening to a lot, and I agree with Lori, a lot of commentary on, on the last particular, out in New York, particularly Mark Thompson show, I was listening on the drive up. And there's a lot of frustration, of course, among liberals, progressives, regard to capitulation of the president. But one of the things I guess I'm beginning to see more is the complicated nature of politics and of policy itself. It's not necessarily just on a moment-to-moment basis that we have to look at. I mean, it's a sort of long game and short game, and I think we need to look long-term to kind of see what the president's strategy is, what's going on, what are all the different pieces in it, because this moment here with regard to the so-called compromise, actually, I think that the Democrats actually just voted down in terms of, as a caucus not accepting.
Right.
There's a larger piece to it that we have to actually see play out, and so I'm waiting to see, where this leads and actually what is this connected to. So I'm still kind of up in the air. I certainly agree for a lot of the people who are unemployed and whose benefits could be jeopardized. I mean, that's the major part of it. But also too, the tax cuts for the top 2%. Everyone knows they don't work. They don't provide jobs. I mean, it's ludicrous to even suggest that. So it's this sort of game of political tussle going on, and some people still put the president in the middle, arguing again with Rahm Emanuel's strategy. He's forming this sort of centrist strategy. And I think and there's a lot of things going on around all of this. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm trying to kind of look at everything regarding this situation and things connected to it, because I think there's more to the story than we're really looking at.
I mean, and the thing that's interesting about it, because the estimates are somewhere between $700 billion over 10 years in terms of the tax breaks that the Republican or the rich are going to be getting. And you didn't hear anybody talk about how this needed to be paid for. I didn't hear anything about fiscal responsibility or whatever, but now we're talking about issues where you're talking about 1.2 million to 3 million people are going to be out of benefits, where around Christmas time and around the beginning of the year, they won't be able to pay their rent, take care of their families and all of that. This is not a political football you should be playing with. The Republicans should have showed some type of integrity and said, we're not going to do that to these individuals. And I just want to know for myself, because I'm annoyed about this, are these people who didn't go out, because a lot of them didn't go out and vote and support the Democratic ticket, because you saw what happened, did you realize what they just did? Because when it came down to an issue that was dealing with your livelihood, they didn't support you because they wanted to give tax breaks to the rich.
And that's why I think we really, as a general population, need to become more involved in analyzing the situation. Because besides that, the situation we're talking about now, even with the 9/11 bill, the Republicans went lockstep, making sure that they're against, again, something that's supposed to benefit a good portion of the population for a very valid reason, a very admirable reason as well. And I think I heard Jimmy Carter say on a talk show recently that although the Republicans taking control may be an issue for the general population, it also may be a good thing in terms of now they have some responsibility, and I think the general population needs to watch and see whether or not they take responsibility for what happens negatively within the country, over the next couple of years.
I was thinking about Katie Couric for a second, and I know both of y'all are saying, why am I talking about Katie Couric? Katie Couric had gotten in trouble in October when she talked about the unwashed, Zach. Remember that comment that she made about the masses, the political masses that are not necessarily the educated people. She called them the unwashed masses. And people got upset because they thought they was insulting people. But now when I think about it, I wonder why people are getting upset for it. Because a lot of these people are the ones that are still going out and supporting this ticket. I mean, I remember when I was looking at these guys with this what do you call those militia groups or whatever, and they were talking to them about how they thought about what they thought about the country and stuff, and a lot of those dudes didn't have jobs and they want welfare and stuff. And I'm saying to myself, yet you have this conservative point of view, you don't see how there's a conflict between what they're trying to do versus your livelihood, and I don't understand that. See, and that's the part where I get frustrated to the point that I just ready to pass out.
And I think I and a lot of other people agree with you. I'm equally frustrated. I think, I don't always agree with Thomas Jefferson on a lot of things, but I think he had it right when he articulated that democracy is dependent upon an educated citizen.